What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Sharpest Tool podcast. I'm Josh, your host, along with Bosco. And today we have my good friend, Jeremy Self here. He was a coaching and training manager at the Blue Collar Success Group. So he's got a rich background in business development. Jeremy's here to share how understanding your financial data and making smart data-driven decisions can fuel growth in the blue-collar industry. We'll dive into key metrics business owners often miss, how to position for an acquisition, and why knowing your numbers is actually foundational to success. Bosco and I got some really good thoughts. We had a great conversation leading up to this podcast, so I couldn't be more pumped. Jeremy, welcome to the Sharpest Tool.
Josh, thank you so much, man. It's really great to be here this morning.
Yeah, I think that's the best part about doing podcasts is hyping up our guests because we have some pretty awesome people on here. Jeremy, a lot of people might not know about well, go ahead, Bosco.
I was just to say, I'm excited to meet you, Jeremy, because, Josh and I have been talking for a bit and I'm sure Josh has had enough of me. So it's good to have someone else here now to talk with.
When we launched back into this season, it was definitely the Bosco Josh show, but it's nice to have some guests back on the horn here. So, Jeremy, a lot of people might not be aware of who you are, who the Blue Collar Success Group is, what you all impact in the home services industry. Let's start by let's get a background about Jeremy Self. Who is Jeremy Self? Tell us a bit about where you started, where you're at now, and the journey along the way.
Sure, absolutely. I'm born and raised in Nashville, Tennessee, so I'm from the South. It's funny because I'm one of those people that will say I didn't choose the trades chose me, I never had an inkling to be in the trades. It was, I was a salesperson. I was an in-home salesperson. And quite frankly, way back in 2003, I answered an ad in the classifieds in the newspaper, if you want to date and age yourself a little bit. So answered an ad in the classifieds for an in-home salesperson, and it happened to be for a plumbing and air conditioning company. Selling air conditioning products to homeowners. So residential replacement sales. I didn't know anything about air conditioning, like nothing. I mean, I knew that you play with the box on the wall till you get comfortable, and you change your filter as often as you can remember. And that was the extent of what I knew about air conditioning at that time. But, got trained up, had the sales experience, had a phenomenal first year in, really, really good stuff from a production and sales, and was kind of in charge of the sales department by year two, and by year three in 2005, that organization decided to become a part of a franchise. And so the plumbing was going to be one franchise, the air conditioning was going to be another franchise. And so they asked me to be the general manager of the air conditioning franchise. And so I became a GM there at 25 years old. Wow. So now I'm 2 years into the industry. I'm 25 years old. And here I am running a multi-million-dollar air conditioning business. There's two things that go through your mind, Number one, what am I doing? And number two, man, I'm pretty awesome, I mean, those are kind of the two feelings you got. Like, man, I'm pretty awesome, to be where I'm at. And then number two, man, I have really no idea what I'm doing here. So went on, ran that for a few years. That franchise actually got acquired by the corporation that owned the franchise. And then I left there and went to a competitor and started over in sales again, and then jumped into starting an air conditioning business for an electrical contractor in town. And then eventually circled back and ended up reconnecting with the original person I got into the industry with. And before I became a coach at Blue Collar for 7 years there, operated a plumbing and air conditioning business, some multi-trades, multi-locations. We had locations in Florida and Tennessee, until that was acquired early in 2020. And that's kind of what kicked off, the opportunity for me to get into coaching and training.
That's amazing. You don't hear, you hear oftentimes about people like getting into like owning a business, right? But very seldom do you hear somebody who started with the classified ads, moved up through sales, different parts of the organization, ran a shop, GM, to acquiring, through acquisition, now into coaching. There was a recent CEO placement for Nike a couple weeks ago, Elliott Hill. And he's 60 now, I believe, but he just got named CEO of Nike, and he started as a sales rep intern in the 80s. And so just another one of those stories from kind of, kind of the low end of the totem pole, running through the organization, and now the top end. That's such a cool story, and I think it gives you such a unique perspective on the industry that others just aren't able to grab onto.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's been a lot of fun. It's and of course my journey has taken me from a lot of it was in Nashville, and then did 10 years in Florida, and of course now I'm out in Colorado. So it's also afforded me a journey around the country as well.
Jeremy, knowing the journey you've been on and you're coaching others, what would you have told your 25-year-old self, someone who's now a GM who fell into the trades? Because that happens with a lot of us. A lot of us, you're either born into it or you just fall into it. But knowing what you know now, what would you have told your 25-year-old self? Because there are others out there what advice would you give me who's just starting out in this kind of role or capacity?
I think probably the biggest thing that I would say is find yourself a mentor. Get around people that have been doing it longer than you. Get around people that are smarter than you. It's one of those things where I'm going to say that I paid a lot of dumb tax along the way. Meaning I paid a lot of there was a lot of struggles and pains that came along figuring it out along the way versus being a part of and being around individuals that could help coach and mentor and bring you along. So for anybody out there that's just getting into it, or if you're struggling, like, get yourself a coach, get yourself a mentor, get yourself into a group with people that want to help. That's probably the best advice I could give.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Okay.
I love that. You got into coaching, obviously. You have a passion for people development.
Mm-hmm.
How did that end up leading you the direction of, like, you know what, Blue Collar Success Group, this is where it's at. I'm going to go help and coach people.
So it's funny because, the entire time that I operated and when I was the general manager of the original organization and then the startup, and then again, 7 years with the last organization, for me, it was really always about the people. It was, that's what drove me, was having that team, having that connection with people. And so for me, it was really about being able to watch those individuals grow and achieve and things happen to them that make their lives better, was really a driving force for me. Like, it was fun. I was pretty good at operating, and it was a lot of fun. I love the grind. I love the let's go get it every day, but it was really about that team aspect, and so I think it really hit me actually a couple of years before I got into coaching. I actually had the opportunity to speak at a Blue Collar Success Group event early in 2018. And so being at that event, getting an opportunity to speak, what really stuck with me from that event was, afterwards you come off the stage, and just the amount of people that had so many questions and wanted more information and what about this and how do you, and like, it stuck with me that there is a massive opportunity to help people, because look at all this, all the questions and everything that everybody has, but also that owners and operators in our space really want help. Like they're looking for someone to help them and along their path and that kind of stuff. And so it was like, that was the moment when I was like, that's what I really want to do. I want to get into coaching and training, and I want to help as many people in this industry as I can, because like I said, even though operating was a lot of fun, I was only ever going to be able to impact my team. Whereas now I get to impact, owners, operators, technicians, call takers, dispatchers all over the country in North America,
Yeah. You've seen a lot in your coaching as well, I'm sure. And we see a lot on the digital side, right? Working with thousands of small business owners across the country. We see a lot of challenges that they face. And one of the biggest challenges that seems to be kind of progressing in its maturity is this struggle around understanding financials, really understanding how to run the business from a P&L perspective, and really understanding how to make sense of the KPIs and metrics around marketing, advertising, business operations. Why do you think so many blue collar businesses really struggle with understanding the financials as they're growing?
So I think there's a few things there. I think number one, So first of all, I think it goes back to why do a lot of these businesses get started, right? And most of
Mhm.
them come from somebody that's working in another trades business or service business that decides, you know what, I want to go do my own thing. And
Yeah.
so, what they're really looking for when they go and do that is they're looking for freedom. Either freedom to or freedom from. They're looking for freedom from doing it the way they're doing it now and they want to go do it their way, or they're looking for freedom to do it their way, or freedom to create the life that they think they can achieve by doing it on their own. And so I think what they would really want to go do is they want to help people and they want to fix things, they want to work with their hands, and the business part of it is just not in their unique ability, and so it's not something that they're necessarily interested in. And let's face it, humans are people that we want to do things that we're confident in, and we tend to shy away from things
Yeah.
that we're not confident in. And so because of that, I think that there's three key reasons that there's a lack of understanding. Number one, they don't have the numbers. Number two, they don't have easy access or availability to the numbers. Or number three, they don't know what the numbers say. So there's not a focus around it because I don't know what I'm looking at anyways.
Yeah. Yeah. We see this on the digital side too. Obviously, Scorpion just launched our newest product, kind of debut it here on the Sharpest Tool, the Revenue Max product.
Okay.
And basically it's a combination of all of our collective marketing expertise bundled together to be able to ultimately maximize the revenue that you're driving with the advertising efforts that you have.
Nice.
Because we see this too. It's not just about that cost of a click, right? It's not just about that cost of a lead. It does boil down to the cost of that acquisition and then how you're actually leveraging all that data to make smarter decisions over time to continuously improve. If you think of your Kaizen, efforts
Yep.
in manufacturing, right? It's this continuous improvement. And you can't do that if A, you don't have the data, B, you don't have the feedback loop of the data to be able to continuously improve. And so it seems to me like with the advent of stronger CRMs, CRM integrations that are able to integrate back to marketing efforts, people are able to make more sense of this world than ever before. And it's honestly, it's almost silly to not take advantage of that when you can and if it's readily available. Whereas 5 years ago, it wasn't. The market wasn't ready for it, right?
Well, and I think you're exactly right. And so it's funny. As a coach, it's funny how we, as we teach and we coach and we train, how many connections I find between childhood and what we do today. And so I look at it like I look at the financial numbers and the KPIs and those things in service businesses today a lot like, when you were a child, if you got a really cool picture to color, but it was complex, and it was going to have a lot of colors and different details, it was a color by numbers, right? And so what you had to do was simply follow the numbers and it would tell you how to create the beautiful picture that you're looking for. And so our business numbers, our performance metrics, and our financial numbers are literally a color by numbers for operating the service business. And so if we will just simply look at the numbers and follow the numbers, they'll tell us how to build the business that we want to
Yeah.
build.
Yeah. Now, you've been a part of businesses that have been acquired. And I think there's this wave of acquisitions, mergers, buyouts that started really in 2020 when a lot of business owners who didn't have as much stability or they perceived they didn't have as much stability, they just started selling and private equity groups started sweeping in. And these obviously home services businesses, when run well, they're recession proof. They can be really strong. They can have really strong cash flow for the business. There's a lot of benefits to running a home service business. And so we started to see really aggressive offers from private equity groups or portfolio groups to really roll up home service brands underneath one umbrella to be able to continue to build and expand the effort to serve more people. But you've been a part of that. So and a lot of business owners are thinking that might be the end game for them. What are some key steps business owners can take to make their companies more attractive for an acquisition or a merger or a buyout?
I think one of the biggest things, because you're exactly right. I mean, what we know is that, and what we learned during 2020 and 2021 especially, was that service businesses are vital to the economy and vital to the country, and we're not going anywhere. And so I look at well-run service businesses a lot like real estate, that they're always going to appreciate. It's an investment, and I think that private equity sees that, and that's why they're making the acquisitions and the investments that they are. So I think, from a how do you position yourself to be more attractive, I think you've got to have good scalable structures and processes in the business, so that, if private equity wants to come in and acquire and you want to leave, how does the business operate without you? Or does the
Yeah.
business operate only because of you? I think is one of the biggest things. And then I think proper accounting practices, like if your numbers are not good, clean data and good, clean numbers, the valuation of your business, while it may not prevent you from getting acquired, it could cost you hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, simply by not having good, clean financial data,
Do you?
around. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, you hit on something. Do you see that a lot when you work with these other businesses in terms of financial data, not having the right structure set up? Is that like a frequent occurrence, or is it more of like they just don't fully grasp it and they need someone to kind of mentor them and walk them along to really outline what that looks like? Do you see that a lot?
So we actually see quite a number of businesses that come to Blue Collar actually come to us with very little financial data.
Oh, okay.
And so what it creates is that business owners oftentimes are making decisions about what they need in the business and what's working and what's not working based upon their gut or their feeling. And so one of the first things that we do is we say, hey, we're going to go. We got to work on getting some financials, because financials. See, when an owner comes and wants to say this is working, this isn't working, whatever it is, anything that comes from a human always includes perspective, right?
Mhm.
So it's coming from my perspective. It's my perspective of what's working and not working in the business, and that's what I love about the numbers, is that the numbers don't have a perspective. They're just the numbers, right?
Right.
They just tell the real story without emotion, without perspective. And so it's one of the first things we do when you come to work with the Blue Collar Success Group as a member is we're gonna get your numbers. We're gonna find out what's really going on in the business, so that if we're gonna take time, effort, and energy to work on the business, let's work in the areas that we know actually needs work.
Yeah. Jeremy, I love that. And there was something that came up when we were having this pre-discussion around a lot of this stuff that I really want to touch on, because I think it's so important for business owners to understand this idea. I'll give you an example of this too. Illustrate this idea with a story. We have a client who is set out the year with a revenue target, right?
Yep.
And they all throughout the year for the past 9 months, every single month, and often several times a week, they're constantly thinking about, I don't have enough leads, don't have enough jobs. The boards aren't busy. I'm not busy enough. I'm not busy enough. I'm not busy enough. And what's funny about this, and they've been investing dollars into keep busy, keep up with the rat race of busyness. And here we are entering Q4, and they've smashed their revenue target for the year.
Nice.
Smashed it. But there's still this pain, this tyranny of the urgent, so to speak, of I don't have enough in terms of just keeping techs busy. So on the one hand, we have this desire to hit revenue targets. On the other hand, we have this balancing act of we need to keep technicians busy. Both valid perspectives. But you had mentioned something interesting in our kind of pre-session about companies that feel like they're slow, but when you look at the data, just like when we look at the data, it actually is telling a different story from a business perspective. We hit revenue 9 months into a 12-month cycle. That's a win by all accounts, right? Can you share more about, from a coaching perspective, and how you on the blue collar success side now, how business owners can use data to better understand and guide their operations so they're not feeling as much of that just kind of whiplash and tug of war consistently?
We do. We see it all the time where it's, obviously we have regular coaching calls with our clients. And so we'll get on a coaching call and I'll say, hey, how have things been since the last time we chatted? And, oh, it's been slow. It's been slow. It's been slow. And then we go look at the CRM and we look at the data, and it says that, they've had an amazing 2 weeks, but it's just because of how I feel. And this is where we go back to primacy and recency. Maybe yesterday was a slow day, so now all days are slow days, right? And that goes back to running the business off the gut. Oftentimes we're living our emotions are in the moment versus looking at it from a true information and data perspective. And that's where when we look at it, we say, hey, you actually are not slow. Believe it or not, call counts are actually up. What I'm seeing is that conversion rates are down. And so if we're not converting as well as we should, now maybe technicians are going home a little early. And so we feel like we're slow, but it's not a lack of calls. It's a lack of production in the field, or maybe there's plenty of calls into the business, but the conversion rate is down on the phones. And that's where, that's one thing I'll tell you is that we look at it like the most important metric in any service business is conversion rates, both on the phone and in the field. And it's just because conversion rates are either a multiplier or a divider of your marketing dollars, period.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I love that.
We go through that. We go through the same talk track. Bosco already knows where my mind's going with this. I always look at 3 particular conversion rates, right? You got to get clicks turning into calls. You got to get calls turning into booked appointments, and you got to get booked appointments turning into booked revenue. If any one of those is not working the way that it should, or not maintaining some level of consistency, you're going to feel it. Now you compound that with efforts around, like, if your average ticket's down in a given month because you're not cross-selling, upselling, there's something to look at there. If your CSRs, there's gaps in your CSRs. Measuring, people don't realize this all the time, that your CSR is a salesperson. Your technician is a salesperson. There's a sales component to what they do in providing an experience and selling a customer on the experience you're trying to provide. I love that you call that out from a coaching perspective. Sounds like we need more of our clients to be working with the Blue Collar Success Group and with Jeremy over here.
That's what I'm thinking.
Because it's such an important piece.
Certainly don't hate that idea. And that's what it's funny, because our mission is to accelerate the path of success of home service companies. And I think it stems from, how can we reduce the dumb tax that gets paid along the way to success,
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, we want all the business owners we work with to be successful. And the more we can leverage data to help them do that, the better. What would you say? You mentioned conversion rates as one, super important. Everything boils down to that, right? But what are some of the other, like, what you would say the most important numbers and metrics business owners need to focus on daily in order to ensure the business is on the right track?
So I think, depending on the size of your business, this can change a little bit, but some key things that we need to be looking at are, conversion rate and average ticket. We can look at those on daily. And then obviously revenue to budget. Revenue to budget gives me an idea of on track, off track on a daily basis. So I think those 3 from a performance standpoint, those are 3 that I would be looking at, but I think it's also important to remember that, your conversion rate is what we call a results metric. Your average ticket is what we call a results metric, right? Like, that's the outcome of the activities that happened on that call. And so I think there's some, so we have to look at conversion rates and average tickets and revenue to budget, because those are results metrics. And what they do is they indicate that things that we want done are getting done or not getting done on the calls that are being run. And that's where we can now reverse engineer and say, okay, conversion rates are low. Okay, why? Well, now we can go back and look at things like time to quote and number of options. How long did we spend in the home with the client before estimates were provided? Obviously, more time can equal more value if that's good, valuable connection time between the technician and the client. Number of options. We need enough so the client feels educated and has options to choose from, but not so much to create, analysis paralysis. There's too much for me to decipher here and I can't make a decision. And so if conversion rates are low, we can now reverse engineer and say, okay, now which one of these behavior metrics, time to quote, or options might be driving this low conversion rate. And then from there, now we know how to train, or what to train on, or what to coach on with our team, because we now, again, it goes back to activities and efforts being placed in the right areas based upon what the data tells us.
A lot of what you're saying too, Jeremy, I love, because you're providing, I think, deeper insights that most business owners don't really understand, right? Some that are starting out, some that are working to grow. There's a lot of other steps along the way. And I think you called it out earlier, right? They tend to just go with their gut, what they feel they know best. So with all this information that you're providing, because I love it, like, a lot of what I'm hearing is like, I've heard it, I've said it, I reinforce it, and I want business owners to know it. I love this. But there's a lot of business owners that just are kind of in their own way. They have a lot of these mental blocks. What are some ways that you've helped those owners move past those mental blocks? Like, what are the steps? What are the common mental blocks that you encounter? And what are the steps that you help them take to overcome it?
So I think there's a couple of things there, and this goes back to, again, some of the connections that I see between childhood and adulthood. Like, as a child, if you've ever had kids, you've asked your kids to do something, go clean your room, go do this, go do that, whatever it is. Inevitably, we're not met with typically, okay, Dad. We're usually met with why, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we say, well, because of this, that, and the other. And they say, but why, Dad? And we say, well, but why, Dad? And eventually we say, well, because I said so, right? And that's how we get things done with our kids. And so adults are just really, really big kids, right? And so we can't just tell adults what to do. What adults need is why, right? Mm-hmm. So if we're going to shift a mindset, if we're going to shift maybe the way that we've always done it, they're going to need the data that tells them why we need to make a shift, why we need to do something different. It really all goes back to the why, and the why stems from here's what the data tells you and why we have to make a change, why we have to do something different.
That's amazing. I love that. This is what the data tells you. This is what the data tells you. This is the mantra, right, Bosco? This is what Bosco tells his team on a daily basis. What does the data tell you, right? This has been super insightful, Jeremy. I just want to kind of round this up with a nice bow. So we got a lot of business owners who listen to the podcast. We got a lot of marketing professionals. You got Scorpion who listens to the podcast as well. For anybody listening today, what's the first step they should take if they realize they don't know their numbers as well as they should? I'm going to ask this to you, Jeremy. Closing thought for you, for the business owner. Closing thought for Bosco, for anybody who's helping drive these conversations with business owners. So, Jeremy, what would you say? The biggest takeaway here.
So I would say, from this point, if it's like, okay, I don't know my numbers and I need to better understand my numbers. Number one, commit to knowing and understanding your numbers. That's number one is commit. Number two, make a plan on what numbers you're going to get and look at on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis. Number three, find yourself a coach or mentor, somebody that can help you analyze and understand what those numbers mean. And then number four, back to commit to regular financial reviews with a financial coach or analyst or somebody that can help you understand what's going on in your business. And are we headed for good times, or, are we headed for danger?
Yeah, I love that. Bosco, what would you say on the flip side of that to everybody else who's helping business owners in this space?
It's pretty similar, right? You've got to know the numbers, right? You've got to understand the data. But at the same time, for people helping business owners, if you're helping someone, you need to understand what their goals are too, to tie it back to everything, right? If you don't understand it, you don't know what they're shooting for. I could spit out a bunch of data and it really doesn't make sense, right? And walking through the business owner step by step, walking through yourself step by step, because each feeds into itself in terms of getting to that goal, right? It's a full marketing play. But again, I love the end-to-end talk. So understanding the end-to-end journey helps me understand when I speak to a business owner of how we're actually trying to accomplish those goals. So they've got to know the numbers, they've got to know the data, and they've got to know the market. You've really got to understand the market that they're in.
Hey, I would, just to add on to that too, integrate your stuff. I mean, we're in an age of integration right now. Like, integrate your CRM. What's great about at Scorpion, we can integrate with ServiceTitan, House Call Pro, AccuLinks, Aspire, and it's continuing to grow. The list is continuing to grow to give you as a business owner even more data-driven insights. But it gets better. It's not just about the data-driven insights you have so you personally feel good about the decisions you're making. We're in an age where you leverage technology to take those data insights and do the decisions for you. And I think that's one of the powerful benefits of being able to make sure that you're continuing to push the envelope and push the narrative of the tools you're using for your business to be able to incorporate a lot of the advances in technology that we have and a lot of the integrations that we have available today to be able to make more sense of the data. So I love all that. And last but not least, can we just call out Jeremy's amazing Star Wars
I know.
obsession? I
love
think
it.
we did that earlier. It's amazing. Jeremy, this has been awesome. I can't thank you enough for jumping on the podcast. I know there's so much more we could dig into, but I appreciate your time, all the insights. We'll have to do a round two. This is great.
Yeah. Josh, Bosco, this has been a lot of fun. It's been a blast being on with you guys, and you're absolutely right. I mean, we could do we could do 10 more of these around numbers.
Oh, yeah.
Like we
Oh, yeah.
literally just kicked a little dirt off the top of the surface today. You know, there's so much more to dive
Totally.
deep into numbers.
Yeah, for everybody listening, definitely hit that like button and give that subscribe button a nice pound so you get more of the awesome content from Scorpion and the Sharpest Tool podcast. And if you're curious about how Jeremy can help your business or Scorpion can help your business, definitely check us out at scorpion.co. That's SCORPION.co. And you can find out more about Revenue Max and how that can help your business. Jeremy, where can people find out more about you and the Blue Collar Success Group?
Very simply go to the bluecollarsuccessgroup.com. You'll see an opportunity there to connect and learn more about what we do and how we can help.
Awesome. Thanks again, Jeremy. And thank you for listening. We'll talk soon.